Hello friends, this is Apurva the Book Hunter, and I'm back today with another video. In this video, we'll be talking a little bit about fantasy fictions. And you have noticed, perhaps, if you're an avid reader and you keep track of the anticipated books, new release books on websites such as Book and Goodreads, then you perhaps have noticed that if you go to any such websites and click on the anticipated books of 2019 or any year, basically, so you'll see that like 70% or more books are some sort of epic fantasy, sci-fi fantasy, some sort of fantasy, and they are like the first book or the third book or the fifth book in a series of books. So are they any good? Like, a lot of people are writing fantasy, and you go on YouTube, the YouTubers are all babbling about fantasy. So are they any good? I mean, should you read these books? Actually, I, for myself, I haven't read any fantasy book for last 2.5 years. And I recently, after a lot of recommendations from a lot of YouTubers, I finally picked up this Mistborn series. The first book, I read the first book, which is known as Mistborn, the Final Empire, and it is written by a very acclaimed writer, Brandon Sanderson. He's like one of the most acclaimed and praised fantasy writers of our generation. So, in fact, I don't read a lot of fantasy. I usually stick to like literary fictions, canonized fictions, contemporary fictions, maybe a few political non-fictions now and then, detective stories now and then. But epic fantasies, magical fantasy, they're not really my type. I do have read like Harry Potter, Song of Ice and Fire, maybe Lord of the Rings. I read them, I kind of like them, but then again, I tried Eye of the World, it didn't work. Culture series by Line Banks, it was okay, average. And to think that these are one of the most acclaimed ones. So after a lot of recommendation, I finally decided to read this book, and the plot is kind of intriguing. I think it's kind of different from your run-of-the-mill fantasy. So in this story, it's set in a world where a dark ruler called the Lord Ruler, he's been ruling ruthlessly for like past 1,000 years, and he has suppressed the common people into just submitted them into some kind of a slavery and sufferings and misery. And his world, he's aided by noblemen and ministers and steel inquisitors. And these people, like the noblemen, inquisitors, and Lord Ruler himself, they have the ability to use allomancy, which is a kind of a magical stuff that really allows you to use special powers by the means of burning metals inside your system. So if someone can burn like one or two metal, they're called mistings, and those who can burn all the metals, they're called mistborn. So the noblemen, basically the common people don't have this power, but when noblemen mix with the common people, then their offsprings can use this power. So uh, apparently 1,000 years ago, Lord Ruler saved the humankind from a great terror, or like a threat from it was like a entity called the Deepness that posed a great threat to humankind. And the Lord Ruler, according to the Lord Ruler supporters and the church, they keep saying that Lord Ruler really got rid of the Deepness and saved humankind. But he's ruling now with Iron Fist, and apparently a group of ragtag mistings and one mistborn, they are trying to overthrow the Lord Ruler's empire in association with the Ska, which are the slaves basically. And the protagonist of this novel is actually a thief, a young girl called Vin, who discovers that she's a mistborn, and now she has to overthrow the Lord Ruler himself. So the plot is not bad altogether. It's nice actually. I mean, nice. But if you talk about the pace of the novel, the first half is kind of like not a good pacing at all. Second half gets like quite nice. It feels very nice. The second half is pacey. It's well paced, not like not uneven. It's quite even. But the problem, I think, is basically again and again, like, the development of characters. I mean, you can have a lot of action, a lot of magic in the fantasy, but if your characters don't feel real enough, then are you gonna like it? I don't think so. So basically we get a look into like the major characters a bit, but the side characters kind of fall away. I mean, you can take a clue from like Japanese manga. They have even better character evaluations, like character depth than these novels. So that's one of the problem of this novel. And also I think there's a lot of cliches used here, like stereotypes, which the author could, easily got rid of, but he didn't, and it just made this one a little voluminous. But overall, I'd say the story is not too bad. I mean, I wouldn't just call it like discard it. I mean, it has this ability to like hook the reader. So as soon as I finish the first one, I'm just thinking like, when am I gonna get to read the next one? Like, I really wanted to read the next one. So a book that has this rare quality can really not be bad. I mean, it can't be bad. So I think this is kind of a decent read for a casual reader, but however, for a critical reader or avid reader, it would seem like kind of shallow and a bit stereotypical. But overall, I think Brandon Sanderson is really talented because yeah, he knows his stuff. I mean, he knows what he's doing, and I'm really looking forward to reading the next novels. However, I'm also at this point I'm also reading another fantasy, and this is by a Booker-winning author called Marlon James. So I'll be reviewing as soon as I'm finished. Friends, if you like this review, then please give it a big thumbs up and share this video. This is Apurvo, the book hunter, signing out.